thought I'd knock out a quick stream. So I'm gonna talk about Teddy Atlas' comments towards Shakur Stevenson and a couple of other people that's hating on Shakur Stevenson. You know, like Paulie Malignaggi, who stayed getting his ass whooped by black fighters. I understand why he don't care for black fighters like Shakur Stevenson, because he always was getting his ass whooped by black fighters and getting beat down. Now, with that being said, you know, Teddy Atlas was basically criticizing Shakur Stevenson, saying that he's boring and all typical, and he doesn't have a interesting style. And yet he put on a boxing clinic, put on an entertaining fight, entertained the fans, and then people still found something wrong with it. And this is why a lot of people think the way they think towards people like Teddy Atlas. Now, as far as Teddy Atlas, you know, being a racist, I don't know if people think he is. Well, he made a case for people thinking he was a racist based off what he tweeted. Then he came right back and tried to clean it up by bringing up Tyson Fury and Triple G and some other people. Now, I will say this much about Teddy Atlas. It could be, you know, with these type of comments, it's always some type of racial innuendo or insinuation when you say that about black fighters. Oh, they don't have a fan-friendly style, they're boring, or they're not fighting anybody and all this kind of stuff. But Teddy Atlas have worked with black fighters, and Teddy Atlas flat out said that Manny Pacquiao was on PEDs when other people were scared to say it. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I defending Teddy Atlas, because I thought his comments were asinine. And to sit up there and say that he thought Fundura's fight was better, why? What's fun about watching a small forward like try to basically bully, weight bully and height bully, you know, dudes, you know what I'm saying, that he shouldn't even be fighting? So what's fun about that? And then not to mention he ended up getting slept. What it comes down to is just that Shakur Stevenson is just too dominant, and saying that he needs to fight better competition. Well, what can you do when you don't want nobody to, well, you know, when you want to fight people and they won't get in the ring with you? He asked for Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz said no. He asked for a few other people. They said no. So you got to get in the ring with who willing to sign a contract. He tried to fight those dudes. The WBC, if I'm not mistaken, was going to order, or they ordered Isaac Cruz to get in the ring with, or they tried to mandatory Isaac Cruz versus Shakur Stevenson, and Isaac Cruz said no. He said that Shakur Stevenson was going to run around, which I think is crock, and I think that was baloney to say something weak like that. But like I said, there is a fear of the dominant black fighter. And I mess with Shakur tough. And I hate that he in the situation that he in. But you can't get people to fight you. What can you do? You got to fight on. That's why I don't be wanting to hear this stuff about, oh, we warriors and all this stuff, and you know who I'm talking about. Well, if you warriors, you'll fight anybody. You ain't gonna make no excuses on why you can't fight nobody. I'll say this much about David Benavidez. David Benavidez fought Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant fought in that metamorphosis. Man, I done seen hotel rooms smaller than that ring that they was in. But David Benavidez, he agreed to it, and he still found a way to win. And Caleb Plant was very elusive. So that's why people respect David Benavidez. He didn't make no excuses. He could have been like, man, I'm not fighting in that gigantic ring. But he got in there. So Isaac Cruz, he can pipe down, man. Ain't nobody trying to hear what he trying to say. Because at the end of the day, if he's so confident, which I don't run it. Like I said, he backwards. He resets and he turns, but he don't sit up there and be going. That's just a lie. But you know, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm thinking also something else why Teddy Atlas is bent out of shape and in particularly be hating on guys like Shakur Stevens, ESPN, and they let him go. So he still could have a little bit of animosity towards ESPN for letting him go. It could be a mixture of a whole bunch of things. But he not helping his case by just attacking Shakur Stevenson the way he is. And he's entitled to his opinion, but at the same time, man, to sit up there and say he didn't put on an entertaining fight, because I'm sitting up there, okay, well, you were giving Lomachenko high praise, and who was Lomachenko really fighting? I'm just keeping it a buck. Lomachenko hasn't beaten one legitimate consensus pound for pound fighter. You can make the argument that Rigondeaux wasn't around, but then at the end of the day, Rigondeaux was way smaller than Lomachenko. But then he's sitting up there talking about he too small for Devin Haney, but he had no problem fighting. I thought it was laughable when Teddy Atlas told both Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford that he had Lomachenko ranked higher than both of them. Lomachenko, a dude who lost to a dude with double-digit losses. Laughable. I'm going to say this again. Salido had double-digit losses, and he worked Lomachenko. So can we stop the cap? That was just laughable when he was sitting up there giving Lomachenko all this praise and a lot of people. But now they downplaying the Devin Haney fight. And they trying to come up with a way to discredit Devin Haney should he beat Lomachenko. And it shouldn't work. And I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. Because if Lomachenko wins the fight, he gonna be getting all the praise in the world. So I'm not gonna let them get away with that. I'm not gonna let them sit up there and discredit Devin Haney. Not gonna let them get away with that. And that's just real talk. But like I said before, get back to Shakur. He been trying to fight all these dudes. What is he supposed to do? It's just a shame that they always try to discredit these dominant black fighters. Because I just think when they saw how dominant Shakur was, that just scared a lot of people. You know, Shakur been a pound for pound fighter, and he just further proved it. So let's just stop playing these games. But Teddy Atlas, he you know, I disagree with him. And I just think it may be him just still bitter about, you know, getting ousted by, you know, ESPN from his analyst job. Now, let me get to Dimitri Bivol. Now, reporters said that Dimitri Bivol said that he'll fight Canelo in a rematch on one condition. If it's at 168 and he agreed to put all his titles on the line. Because he basically is taking Canelo to task for making all the excuses when he lost. Now, me, myself, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't like that. I don't think Bivol should do it. Because at the end of the day, we already know Canelo is going to try to control the weight. He going to put all the stipulations in the contract. And I wouldn't do that if I was Bivol. And then Bivol hasn't fought at 168 in a while. So for him to go back down for Canelo, I don't know about that. I wouldn't do it. Cause I promise you, Canelo gonna have a few tricks up his sleeve in negotiations. But nobody ain't gonna complain about Canelo trying to control Bivol weight. But these were the same people crying about, you know, Tank trying to control Ryan's weight and Devin Haney being too big for Lomachenko and all this stuff and being just absurd. You know, I know the play. I know what they trying to do. They trying to get their excuses in order, so you know when Devin Haney is victorious, they can start discrediting him. But I'm not gonna let y'all get away with it. You ain't gonna come on my channel talking that nonsense, and that's just real talk. So let me say this last thing, and then I'm gonna end this stream. As I said before in other videos, when blacks, the better off we gonna be. When we stop acting like we gotta explain stuff to everybody, that's the problem. Now, some people need to have all with Robert Garcia saying that he rooting for Ryan Garcia because he's from California and he Mexican and all this stuff. People saying, well, you have a person that said, well, I'm rooting for a person because he black, and you would get people sitting saying you can't do that because that's what's wrong with boxing, and boxing shouldn't be about race. Let me explain something to y'all. That don't work on me, and most people know not to try that on my channel. If I want to root for a fighter because he's black, I'm gonna do it, and it ain't a damn thing you can do about it. You can kiss my black ass. Filipinos root for Filipino boxers, Mexicans root for Mexican boxers, whites root for a lot of white fighters, or European fighters root for a lot of European fighters, Asian fighters root for Asian fighters. But we the only ones that's made to feel guilty or have to give somebody an explanation. Like, I ain't got to give y'all no explanation. Now, I can say this much. I can distinguish if it's a black versus a non-black fighter who will win. I can assess that based off talent. I can fairly and honestly say, hey, if this dude is going to win because of that, this dude going to win because of this. And then that's when color is not going to play a part in who I select to win the fight. But if it comes down to who I'm rooting for, hell yeah. In most cases, I am going to root for the black fighter. And nothing's wrong with that. You black people are the problems. When y'all sit up here trying to attack people like me who think like that and trying to explain to everybody, you ain't got to explain to these non-blacks. Like I said, who is they to sit up here and try to make you feel guilty about support? Oh, boxing isn't about race and all that stuff. But it is when it come to y'all guy. It is when it come to your guy. It is when it come to the dude you root for. Like I say, I blame a lot of you black dudes for this, because y'all the ones that always be sitting up here acting like y'all got to explain y'allself to everybody. Oh, man. Or trying to attack other black channels who talk like that. Oh, well, you know, they don't speak for me. And, you know, so-and-so, he shouldn't be saying, man, screw y'all too. Screw y'all too. Like I said before, I ain't got to explain nothing to none of y'all. For real. You ain't gonna make me feel guilty. Like I said, that may work on these other clowns, and they may be the ones that feel like they gotta explain to y'all. Like I said, I ain't got to explain nothing to y'all. I ain't got to explain why I do this and why I do that. I'm a black man. That's why I support black fighters. Don't come on my channel talking about, oh, that's not right, or you shouldn't do that, and boxing isn't about. It is when it is when you root against it. It is when you root against the black fighter. Get out of here, man, with that foolishness, man. Get out of here, man. Don't come on here talking that junk. So I'm just saying, and here's the thing. I don't have a problem with Robert Garcia saying that. Hey, do you, Robert? It's all good. You supposed to do that. You supposed to do that. If you want to root for your fellow Mexican, hey, fine. Like I say, y'all the ones that be coming emotionally unstable and crying about it. Y'all the ones be whining about, oh, you should root for a fighter because he's black. Like I said, now you tell me who's being emotional? Who's being emotional now? I already, like, for real. Y'all can't keep it a buck, man. Y'all can't keep it a buck. Y'all can't keep it a buck. So who being emotional now? Y'all the ones that's emotional. Oh, you can't do that. It's not right. It's not fair. Well, you should. You always want to talk about it. Something ain't about race when it pertains to the brother. If he getting dead wrong, or you know what I'm saying, or it's some unbalanced stuff going on, then you want to holler about it ain't about race. But then you want to probably be able to root for your fighters. Man, like I said, man, y'all full of it, man. Just please stop the cap, man. Y'all, this is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man, to hear people like pulling this stuff. Like I said, I ain't like these other channels, man. I told you. I speak for me and I speak for myself only. What you hear on other channels, that's what you hearing on their channel. Like I said before, I ain't got no boss. And I'm going to say this again. I ain't got no boss. I don't check in with nobody. I'm my own entity. I'm my own, like I said, I'm my own boss. I'm my own brand. So if Robert Garcia want to say that, that's fine. But it's always been like that. They love to tell us what we can't do. You can't tell us what to do. And like I said before, I want to say to you, black content creators, stop letting these cornballs make you feel guilty. You ain't, like I said, you ain't got to explain nothing to these dudes. You ain't got to explain nothing to these Mexicans or to these non-blacks. If you want to root for a fighter, we don't owe you no explanation. We ain't got to explain a damn thing to you. You got the wrong. Don't come try to pull that with me. I'm just letting it be known. Real talk. Real talk, bro. If we want to root for our fighters, we can root for our fighters. And you ain't finna make us feel guilty. Like I said, I ain't got to explain shit to you. Take that however you want. But you don't owe you no explanation. You better go take that somewhere else. You go cry somewhere else, man. Like I said before, it's okay for you to root for y'all fighters, but then you want to tell black people who we can and who we can't root for. Really ain't none of your business, to be honest with you. That's the problem, and this is the problem with black people. Stop having these discussions with people. Stop, like I said before. Stop giving people explanations that you don't owe no explanation to. They don't give you no explanation why they root for a fighter because whatever he is, whatever his ethnic background is. So why you got to do it? That's the problem with our community. Always feeling like we got to explain something to somebody. Always trying to make black people feel guilty about wanting to support other blacks. Like I said before, we ain't got no damn allies. And I'm going to say that again. So once again, I have no problem with Robert Garcia supporting Ryan Garcia because he's a Mexican. Fine with me. Do you, brother man. Do you? So the same way y'all root for y'all fighters, we gonna root for ours. Now, if somebody gonna make a video to, hey, well, you know, Town Business don't you know, he don't speak for all blacks. Handkerchief head, sellout, coon. I don't need nobody's validation. I don't need no pat on the backs. Like I said, a lot of these dudes, they sit up here and be trying to attack other channels because they want views and they want subscribers and all that stuff. And then they want this little YouTube money. Like I said, I ain't really on here for the money. The money is cool, but you know, everybody likes supplemental and disposable income, but I ain't on here for the money. I know I ain't finna compromise my channel. Like I said, man, I ain't one of these dudes that sit up here and say what people want me to say, man. So like I said before, I'm going to say this again in closing. Hey, Robert Garcia, if you want to support, you know, if you want to support Ryan Garcia because he Mexican, it ain't going to help him. Ain't gonna help him. I don't think it's gonna do him any good because I think he gonna get put to sleep. I think he gonna be brutally knocked out. But you go right ahead. I'm serious, man. I'm serious, man. Yeah, man. Like I said before, man. I ain't got to explain nothing to y'all. Anyway, I'm out.